Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes. Councilmember Carr?
Here.
Councilmember Panduro?
Here.
Councilmember Tonneson?
Here.
Councilmember Vaccaro?
Here.
Councilmember Williams?
Here.
Vice Mayor Bertani?
Here.
And Mayor Moy?
Here.
Thank you.
Our invocation tonight will be presented by Pastor Jeff Hood, First Baptist Church. Hi, Pastor.
Let's pray together. Lord God, we thank you. We thank you for our city leadership and the responsibilities that you have given to them. And I pray that you would give them wisdom tonight as they hear from people, as they discuss matters that are coming to their attention tonight, as they make decisions. Give them your wisdom, Lord, and help them to hear your voice as a guide. God, I thank you for our city, and I pray that this council would consider the people in our city through every decision that they make. The wealthy, those that are just trying to make ends meet, those that are completely under-resourced. Help this council to consider the needs of all, because we are all part of this place. And God, I want to take a moment to pray for what's happening on the other side of our world, for peace in Ukraine, for peace in the Middle East. May families no longer have to fear that violence is coming. It seems so overwhelming, but I pray for your peace in those places. And Lord, I pray for peace right here in our city. On the night of Jesus' birth, the angels sang, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests." And we pray for your favor tonight. We pray for peace, and we look forward to what you will do in our city. So be with the council tonight. Give them wisdom. And it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. All right. Councilman Carr, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes, ma'am. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
And now we're going to have council reports, and I'll start with Councilwoman Williams, please.
Thank you, Mayor, colleagues, community. So a few of us just had a one-year anniversary. So being on the council for almost a year, so I really spent some time reflecting on that. I had two goals. One was to really learn the job, be informed, be educated, and have the community lens, what they were thinking. And I was able to get both. We have a city manager and a city attorney that informs. We can go to them and get detailed information, any question that we have. And in addition, I have a District 1, Cordelia and Green Valley, and if you're aware of District 1, very, very vocal community. They are very quick. They follow the agendas. They're vocal on Facebook and on Nextdoor, and they send me tons of emails. So I was able to get both of those. In addition, we've had really amazing study sessions and the city tours that I've had this year. That includes housing and transportation and public works, parks and rec, police, fire, finance, IT, transportation. They have really allowed me to feel comfortable when I sit on this dais. I feel educated and ready to make decisions. And the cool thing is, in this year, I haven't had to make a difficult decision at all. I also wanted to say that I have learned more about the general plan and LLMDs than that I could have ever anticipated. So this year has been just a thrill. It's so exciting to be in this space in my life where I get to learn and I get to be in the community of the community and in this position. And I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and happy one-year anniversary tonight, actually. Councilman Tonneson?
Thank you, Mayor. So this is that time of year where we're probably going to overlap some of we're all going to a bunch of Christmas events. This is a super busy month for council members. Councilmember Panduro and I came on during COVID, so the amount of events that we went to was none, unless it was by a Zoom. So this year was really a wake-up call, because we are in full-blown go-to-everything status. So again, I'm sure we'll probably overlap a little bit here, but the Santa sleighs that have been going around. PD does these Santa sleighs, and they go to a bunch of different neighborhoods throughout the city. And I mean, you talk about putting smiles on kids' faces and getting pictures with Santas. And so kids, it was the real Santa Claus on all those. But I want a big shout out to PD for doing that. That's great what you guys do for the kids. We all probably did a little bit of the Sister City thing that went down. I'm sure others will talk about that, but that is a fantastic event. The kids come over from Japan, and they have Anna Giles is here somewhere. You did yeoman's work. That was fantastic. I know how hard you worked on that, so thank you. And again, others will talk more about that. The Downtown Business Watch, we have a meeting every quarter, and it's becoming very well attended. We're getting a lot done in the downtown. Any downtowners that have business, or if you live in the area and just want to show up, that'll be noticed. So anybody that wants to come to those meetings is more than welcome. There's a lot of information that's handed out there. And then Saturday or Sunday, the days run together now. We had coat giveaways at Bethel Church and Logic Church. I'm sure, again, others will talk about Bethel, but Logic is in District 2. It's in the downtown. It was a fantastic turnout. The kids were wrapped around the block. Doug and the mayor and I were all there, but just thanks to what all the churches and stuff do. It's really great for the kids. And that's all for me, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Vaccaro?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. As Councilman Tonneson said, many of us attended different events. The coat giveaway at Bethel, as always, was great. I know our city manager was there with his family helping out, and I think I missed a couple of my colleagues there. You guys left a little bit earlier. But yeah, there's so many things that happen this time of year. I think, one thing we have to be, aware of is that we're sitting here and we're all safe, and, we're in our country right now, in this city, and there's people across the world, especially what's going on in the Middle East right now. A ceasefire, I think that's what everybody's waiting for, a peaceful solution. So I think we need to be very thankful for the fact that we can be sitting here right now and feel safe, because and especially this time of year, because this time of year is a very special time. And, it's sad to see what's going on in other parts of our world. But, I think that we just need to put that in the back of our minds. Not in the back of our minds, in the front of our minds, really. But besides that, I really do want to thank our staff. I want to thank PD for everything they've done, Fire also, over the last the last month, the giveaways, just, helping our kids in the community that really need help, not taking advantage of kids because of certain personal goals, but actually, taking care of kids because they really do care. And I think that's the situation where our staff is always in, because they really do care. So once again, I do want to thank, PD, Fire, Public Works, everybody who's involved in helping our community every single day, and also my colleagues up here for what they do. And they attend a lot of events, more than I do, I'm sure. But, they do a great job. And thank you, Mr. City Manager, for all you do, Mr. City Attorney, our clerk, Karen, also everybody here. And I want to just wish everybody a very happy holiday season. Thank you.
Councilwoman Panduro?
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. We all have attended many events this past 2 weeks, I say, because of the holiday season. But in retrospect, it is a year for many of us, and it is my first year in my first 4-year term. And so just in looking back and attending so many events that I did this past week, I just want to share my immense gratitude to my colleagues, to staff, to fire and PD, because our community is a better and brighter place because of all of you and all that you do. We've done amazing things this past year. We've accomplished major goals, and we've laid the foundation for a brighter and better Fairfield for all of our residents. So I'm just looking forward to a great 2024 filled with many more accomplishments and many more goals reached before our city and for our residents, and for peace in our community, and for peace in so many parts of the world that need it right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Madam Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, ooh, that's loud, colleagues. Thank you, and I will just not repeat everything that was just said. I just want to say that I thank God for you and for this staff and for our police department, for our fire department, for everything that they have done to make this city a better place to live, safer place to live, more productive place to live, and a happier place to live. So thank you. Thank my colleagues for their never-ending, untiring work on behalf of this city. Thank you all for putting in the work. And in that vein, I am from a sports family, and really a football family. And my favorite coach of all time is Vince Lombardi. And that's because Coach Lombardi understood the importance and the necessity of a work ethic that is nothing less than championship level, which is why the National Football League championship trophy is named the Vince Lombardi Trophy. And I say that to say that I just really commend the effort of this city and our staff and all the people who work every single day to make this a championship level organization. And I'm very proud of that. We just had our last town hall meeting over in the Rolling Hills neighborhood about our lovely peafowl. And we really, it's an intense issue, right? Because, some people love the peafowl and some people less than love the peafowl. But I mentioned that, and I mentioned Vince Lombardi because no matter what, these people turned out to put in the work. And that's the main thing. And that's how we move the needle together. We've come to what I believe is some consensus. We'll be reporting back to the city council on what that consensus is, and so we put in the work, and I think Coach Lombardi would be proud of Rolling Hills and of the city of Fairfield. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and let me just read what I think captures for me the spirit of the season. This is Christina, thank you for this beautiful card. Yeah, and all that, but the card is summarized in 3 beautiful words: love came down. Happy holidays to you all, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Carr.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Like my colleagues have said, we all have been pretty busy. Christmas is my favorite time of year. It always has been. I was thinking while everybody was talking, this is 58 Christmases I've spent in Fairfield, and would rather be no place else. Thank you, Christina, for the little gifts you always give. It's very nice. And I love the city. I was able to attend the city's holiday pancake breakfast, and it was exceptionally good, especially the bacon, and to see all the city staff having such a good time. Operation Santa Sleigh was and is always a great big hit for the kiddos. On Saturday, the 9th, we conducted our PFAL meeting, and I feel that at that workshop, I believe that we did get and can take some action on the findings and directions that we got at that meeting. So it was very productive. I went to, right after that, I went to a tour over at Allenwood Aquatic Center for the Santa Splash, where the kids could jump in the cold water. I was trying to talk Scott. We had our Speedos on, but we didn't go in.
Oh,
so.
so dang, have I missed that?
Also, I did take a pass on jumping in the cold pool. I did. Monday was the menorah lighting, and I was there with the mayor and the city council. Really nice. They had that was the first menorah lighting I've ever been to, and I have to say that was quite enlightening. Also, the toy coats that Councilman Tonneson talked about was just amazing. I did attend the Logic Toy for Tots event, and I got a little choked up. One of the kids got a really neat mountain bike and was crying, and I was trying my best to, just like the kid, not, but it's just so awesome what these churches do, the hard work put in and the effort. I think they must have worked all year long to make it, and it was so well organized. It was amazing. Let's see what else. And lastly, I need to give a shout out to all the city staff for the last year, because like Kay Patrice, this is my 1-year anniversary today, and they've kept us pretty busy with our tours and learning all the different facilities. And I know it's probably kind of a pain having, oh, here comes a city council member to look at our facility. But I thank you, the staff, for that. They did such an excellent job, and I've learned so much. Tomorrow is the exact date of the 1 year, but this was the Tuesday that we were sworn in 1 year ago today. So it's been a fabulous 1 year, and I'm looking forward to the next 3, hopefully more after that. The work that we've been doing here, I think, has been very productive, and I think we're making great progress and benefiting the town that I truly love and the people in it. And I just want to thank everybody, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Councilman, and happy anniversary to you, too. So, as you heard tonight, it is anniversary. It's my 1-year anniversary serving as mayor of my hometown. It's not something that I grew up thinking I would do. It's something I kind of fell into, kind of a long story. But it was difficult because Mayor Price passed away before I could be sworn in, and before he and I could talk about a lot of things. We talked about some after he called me to concede, and we talked about a lot of things, and he was gracious. But for this whole year, him leaving us has weighed heavily on me. And he's a hard act to follow. He has that deep voice, tall, skinny. I'm short and fat and, short hair. And I talk a lot, he didn't. We have totally different styles. And I just want to really thank the citizens here of Fairfield for giving me a chance. And I can tell you, like I did that night, and I've said a couple of times, that the voters who brought this city council here put together a council that's the Get It Done council, and we have. We're going to be having the city manager and I'm sure the city council will be there in February, the State of the City address. And that will be on February 15th. And it'll be at the Hilton and the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce is hosting it. And you can go online on our website and see there and sign up for it if you want to. It will be big, and we have an economist coming who's a renowned economist to talk to us about what we may be looking at as well. So it won't just be me blathering on. Although I will do that because, you know, we have a pretty new police chief, we have a brand new fire chief, we have a pretty new council except for us 3 OGs, and we have a new mayor. And I think we're fabulous, and it's because of you all. We get every day incoming messages all the time, and you help guide us on what we need to do. And we can't do it without you. And so many of you serve on our commissions, and you want to do more. And that's one of the things that we'll work on this next year is getting you more engaged with us. I'm thankful to staff, but I'm mostly thankful for the people who put us all here and also the people I sit next to. So I did a little something. Now, when I was younger in 4-H, I won first place in the whole state for baking. Now, I don't usually do Christmas cookies as far as like decorating, but I decided to try my hand at it, and I sucked. But I brought them anyway. I brought them all cookies, and so I'm gonna just pass those out just as a thanks for them putting up with me. You know, some of them are ugly. They're all ugly, but anyway. They kind of suck, but anyway, David, this one's for you. You're welcome. Doug, this is for you. See, it looks like the Grinch, and that's nothing about you all. It's more about me when I was decorating it. Here we go. David Lamb, it's the Grinch, and then there's some that are nicer that I'll give to the ladies. Oh, here you go, Madam Vice Mayor. So yours is pink, but pink's not ugly, and.
It's the ugliest cookie I've ever seen in the history of my life. No, I'm just kidding. It's very cute. It's very cute.
And then this story also. And then there's Scott. Actually, Jay thought the original cute. I actually thought yours turned out pretty well. But I don't know. Yeah, okay. And then there's yours. But
We're not keeping you busy enough.
I know, no. I stayed up, I got up early, like at 4 this morning, and Ken came out, and my husband, and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm decorating for my colleagues." And he said, "Those are so ugly, don't give it to them. Why don't you bake something that you're really good at?" But anyway, I meant it to be, because I did it with love. And it's, it's ugly love. But anyway, Merry Christmas.
Thank you
and
very
thank
much.
you.
I like mine.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Mr. City Manager, your report?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And I was very glad to see that others got a Grinch cookie as well. Otherwise, maybe that was a
It's
veiled
nothing
message to the city
personal.
manager. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I've got a couple of things very quickly, and then I'm going to actually ask Christina Counsinger to come up and give a quick update on the transition on the golf courses. You know, we're going from Kemper and SRI over to Touchstone. That'll be commencing here at the first of the year. Thank you, Mayor, for mentioning the state of the city. Just for those that are interested, again, February 15th, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. It will be a breakfast. You can get tickets at fairfield.ca.gov/tickets. That'll take you right into the partnership with the Chamber of Commerce where you can obtain tickets. The other thing that was also mentioned up here on the dais was the Narasaki contingency. I hosted a student, and that was just an absolute blast, a wonderful experience. I'm so thankful that we did that. And I too want to thank Anna. It was a whole team, but Anna, definitely thank you so much. She did a ton of work and organizing that. And really my announcement is mostly about any students who have any interest in going to Nirasaki from Fairfield in this next summer. That will be an opportunity. So if you have interest, please reach out. We want to start the effort now of finding students that will be going to Nirasaki to represent Fairfield with the exchange program. So with that, I'll have Christina Kaunzinger come up and give just a very brief verbal update on how the transition's going over to Touchstone.
Greetings. So as you know, we are transitioning into a single operator, and we're excited with all that. The last couple of months have been quite busy on all fronts, and most certainly this month is a flurry of activity. And so I wanted to let you know that we will be closing part of the restaurants the last few days of December and the first few days in January for primarily the transition of equipment with POS systems being replaced, training of staff, going through some of those internal functions and systems that need to be removed and replaced with a comprehensive integration of the golf side with the restaurant side with all of the systems that we have in place, because right now they are separate and independent of one another. And then we will be doing some cosmetic cleaning, deep cleaning of the entire facilities, both inside and outside. And so we're looking forward to starting off with a clean, fresh slate. And with me tonight is President of Touchstone, Mark Luthman. And so really want to put a shout out to him and his primary management team that have been working side by side with the city and the other operators over these last couple of months. And so the first 30 days of them coming in, we'll be really looking internally with helping with getting staff integrated into the new systems, doing some training with them. Again, we're going to do a little bit of cosmetics, but anything that's real substantial with any planning and design changes, those will take some time and will be part of our regular capital improvement planning, but they are in design, and so we'll be doing some of those improvements as we can later in the year. So just wanted to give you a brief update on some of the closures coming on the restaurant side in particular.
I have a couple of questions. Councilman Vaccaro?
How long is expected the closure, though?
So the Rancho at the Grill, we're going to be closing the 28th, 29th, and 30th. And then the holidays, we will be closed also. But the upstairs banquet, we're going to probably do some modification and having some grab and goes for the golfers. But for general restaurant downstairs, that will be closed for primarily cleaning and then changing out POS systems. And then at Paradise, we do have a few events that were already pre-planned. So we will be closed in December on the 31st early at 4 o'clock. And then the first 3 days of January, we're planning to close. And again, if we're able to get things quicker done, but that's our window, is kind of those 5 days, 6 days.
Councilman Tonneson?
And then when do you anticipate the major improvements taking place with the restaurants?
So with our design and bidding process, those will take at least probably 14 to 24 months to have, depending on the significance of what we are doing on some of the properties. But there will be some, again, what I'm calling cosmetic improvements long before then.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Any other questions? Thank you, Christine.
All right, thank you, and happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas. All righty then, first we'll ask the city attorney. Do you have anything?
Madam Mayor, I have nothing to report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk?
Hi, everyone. PAL is collecting plastic or paper bags, big or small. They're doing this in coordination with Solano Community Health Hub, and it's for their bag drive to support the PAL Student Food Pantry. So you can drop off your bag donations at the Solano Community Health Hub in the Solano Town Center, It's, I guess it's just across from Bath and Body Works, and it's open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I'm just looking forward to Christmas Eve because my little twin grandsons that are 10 months old are coming over, so that should be fun. So anyway, happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
All right, so we'll go ahead and turn to the presentations now, Madam Clerk.
Presentation, Cordelia Fire District presentation, presented by our Fire Chief, John Sturdy.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. It's nice to be here tonight, and happy holidays to everybody. So I'm going to give a brief overview on the long-term contract for service for the Cordelia Fire Protection District. So just a brief overview of the Cordelia District. So it roughly covers about 56 square miles, and it borders Fairfield, Napa, Vallejo, Benicia, and then open space areas in the county. Population out in the district is roughly 7,000 people, and that's primarily in the Green Valley Highlands area in Old Town Cordelia. Some of the critical infrastructure that is in the district is Highway 12, Highway 80, and Highway 680. And on the map here, you can see Fairfield in the tan, and the Cordelia district is in the teal. So just a real brief overview of the history of how we got here. So the Cordelia district had been struggling financially for several years, and then in 2022, all these issues compounded. So paid staff began leaving to other agencies. Recruiting volunteers became more difficult, and this was happening nationally, and Cordelia was not immune. This left their workforce about 50% of what it had been previous. So they found themselves in the position of only being able to provide coverage part-time. They approached us to help out, and that's kind of where we got to where we got. In conjunction with an aging fleet, aging equipment, and not funding in order to replace this stuff. And then, like most agencies, they weren't immune to rising costs, including PERS and workers' comp costs. So, as you recall, last year in late 2022, Council agreed to the short-term agreement, and then LAFCO granted us an emergency short-term agreement due to the threat to public safety and health. So currently what we're doing with the district is we are charging a fee per call for service, which is our first responder fee, roughly $502 a call. And on average, that works out to about $19,000 a month currently. And for that, about 1.5 calls a day is what we're running out in the district. So we've been working very diligently with the Cordelia District Board over the past 12 months on all components of the LAFCO application package. This includes a service delivery plan. We had an independent financial analysis completed, and looking forward to a long-term agreement with them. So the scope of service, we're going to be providing essentially all emergency services other than crime in the district, so fire and emergency response. They will get the full force of the Fairfield Fire Department, just like anybody if they called 911 in the city. They will be getting prevention services, our administrative services, and our paramedic services. So how they get their revenue is essentially through property tax and then Measure M, which is a special tax for the Cordelia District. This will be an 8-year deal with an automatic re-up as long as both parties are happy. And then, as you can see in year 1 of this deal, we're essentially receiving 91% of their budget, roughly $700,000. That will incrementally increase. In year 3, we'll go up to 92.5%, and then by year 5, we'll be at 95% of their budget. And then I want you to know we're not in this alone. We do have partners. We do have auto aid agreements with both the City of Benicia and CAL FIRE. Also, a lot of the CAL FIRE area, state responsibility area, or SRA. Think of hills, so Green Valley, the rolling hills of 680, that's all covered under the SRA, which means CAL FIRE has the responsibility for that area. So we do get if any fire was to occur in that area, we do get the full force of CAL FIRE. That's aircraft, bulldozers, hand crews, fire engines, you name it, they bring it. And then in Benicia, that's more isolated to the 680 Lake Herman area. They're just a lot closer and they can respond faster than we can out in that area. So final steps, what we're looking at right now is we've submitted the application to LAFCO, and that was in mid-November of this year. And so they are reviewing it currently, and then they will give us feedback of what we need to adjust and work on with the Cordelia board. Followed by, we're hoping to go to LAFCO in mid-February and have it approved, and then we will execute the full contract after that. And then Cordelia has also agreed to pay us retroactively, so they're going to pay for the first full year as if it was fiscal year 22-23, even if the contract doesn't get approved until later this year. And then before I answer questions, I just want to acknowledge we do have two Cordelia board members here, Jim Frishy and Aaron McAllister. And also, I would be remiss if I did not thank Taylor Armour for all of her work that she's done with this. She's been incredible throughout this entire process. Even on maternity leave, she worked through it to get this done. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Any questions? Councilman Tonneson?
So who owns the firehouse?
The Cordelia District, the board does.
And what will happen to that?
So their plans are to sell it. So they're going to liquidate essentially all their assets.
And you're going to run out of 35 or?
36 will be the primary station to that area. 35 would be the backup.
Is the stomp ever coming back? No. Thank you.
Dang it.
No fireman's ball?
No. Nope, I guess not. Maybe we should put it on our agenda. Anybody else? Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you. Happy holidays, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Okay, now we're going to move to public comments, please.
Thank you. Persons wishing to address the city council on subjects not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the council may do so at this time. The council cannot discuss or take action on matters not on the agenda for this meeting, but council members may briefly respond to statements made or questions raised by the public, ask for clarification from staff, refer the matter to staff, request staff to report back to the council at a subsequent meeting, or place the matter on a future agenda. If you're online to speak on an agenda item, please use the raise your hand feature or press *9 on your phone. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes per item if you're online. And I actually only have 3 cards for item 13, and there are no hands raised online. Did anyone want to speak on public comment? No.
All righty then. All right, then we'll go ahead and close the public comment period and move on to the consent calendar, Madam Clerk.
All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion unless a member of the city council or the public requests that separate action be taken on a specific item. And again, I don't have any cards for consent.
Okay, no public speakers out there on consent? All righty. Then I'll entertain a motion. So moved, and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, that is unanimous. And now we're going to turn to public hearings.
Yes, item 13, public hearing discussion and direction regarding the general plan update, draft preferred land use plan, and guiding policies. And our presenter is Planner Jesse Hernandez.
Good evening, City Council and folks joining us tonight. My name is Jesse Hernandez, and I am the project manager of the General Plan Update. On September 12th, the City Council provided final direction on their vision for growth and development in Fairfield. Tonight, our consultant, Allison Moore of Diet and Batia, will be presenting the preferred land use plan, which communicates your vision for the future. We will also be requesting direction on draft guiding policies. Allison?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Allison Moore. I'm here with my colleague Rajiv Bhatia. This evening, we'll share the basis for our preferred plan, which serves as the foundation for the full general plan update that we'll be developing next year. The components of this include our land use concept map in your packet, which represents the big picture changes that will shape the plan, guiding policies for some of our general plan elements, and then our next steps for continued community engagement. What we're hoping to hear from you this evening is confirmation that we've captured your final direction, provide answers to any of your questions, and receive any edits or changes to the guiding policies that we have proposed. We're also hoping to confirm direction for some of the guiding policy components that we heard from the Planning Commission meeting in November. In terms of the schedule, we've completed phase 1, which included background research and development of the vision and guiding principles. We completed our alternatives phase, and now we're at the phase where we've put all the pieces together and we're getting ready to draft the general plan and the climate action plan. That's going to happen in winter to summer, and then hopefully moving into adoption and hearings in the fall of next year. The preferred plan framework has been the culmination of nearly 3 years of community engagement and decision maker input, spanning workshops, interviews, surveys, numerous study sessions over the 2 phases. The land use concept map in your packet represents the major changes that will shape the land use pattern. I will describe them number by number, and if you have any questions about these, we're happy to clarify, but just confirming with you that this accurately represents your final direction. So first, number 1, we are prioritizing the creation of a neighborhood commercial center in Cordelia anchored by a grocery store. With approved residential developments already happening to the north and south, this center is set to meet the needs of a growing market. In addition, the upcoming I-680, 80, and SR-12 interchange project will help enhance access and visibility to this new center and help to connect northern and southern Cordelia as well. The Business Center Drive area is transitioning into a business center mix. It's number 3 up there. It will encourage a variety of employment uses such as food and beverage manufacturing, research and development, and co-working spaces. Housing options in some of these areas will be available to meet workforce needs while promoting mixed-use development. Number 4, a large vacant parcel at Sassoon Valley Road and Business Center Drive will be poised to become a destination gateway into Sassoon Valley and support agritourism there. Here it is envisioned that a mixed-use lifestyle center, complete with retail, entertainment, lodging, and recreational opportunities, and with housing would result, emphasizing walkability and placemaking. Number 5, Nelson Hill will offer a mix of low-density residential uses and publicly accessible open spaces with hiking trails and scenic vistas. This area will formally remain a study area contingent upon city approval of a site plan consistent with this general plan vision. So residential use is just on a small portion, cited to minimize visual dominance against the hills. Vegetation and fire management plan, provision of adequate emergency egress, so making sure that there's 2 ins and outs, as well as adequate utilities there. The Hale Ranch study area, number 6, that's one of the only large contiguous parcels near existing food and beverage manufacturing that would help to bolster Fairfield's strength in high-value industrial development and provide jobs that help improve the city's jobs housing balance. Policies in support of this study area will require that land use or zoning is limited to specific industries, including winemaking and production, agricultural technology, food and beverage manufacturing, and would exclude warehousing and distribution as primary uses. And the study area development of which would also include close coordination with Sassoon Valley stakeholders and the county. Moving now into central Fairfield. So to bolster the heart of Fairfield development and transit connections, underutilized commercial areas near the transportation center there at 7 We'll see high-density and mixed-use housing, additional single-family and missing middle housing options, including duplex, triplex, fourplexes, will also be available just south of the downtown area to increase population going into downtown. Linear park transformation, so building upon the 2016 Linear Park Trail Revitalization Plan. The preferred plan envisions the linear park as a connecting spine extending from the train station to Solano Community College. It will thread together neighborhoods with activity nodes located near significant clusters of higher density uses, such as the Solano Town Center, where the center is a major community hub is envisioned, and North Texas Street, where mixed-use development and more pedestrian-oriented improvements are also envisioned there. The linear park will feature pedestrian and bicycle trails and parks and open spaces for recreation and community gathering, along with access improvements. That's number 10 there. Hopefully improving accessibility from neighborhoods to the linear park. And then finally, in the eastern portion of Fairfield, Travis Air Force Base is exploring an enhanced use lease area east of Vanden High School and Golden West Middle School. This initiative would foster shared opportunities between the base and the community, likely leading to a modified fence line. Mixed-use development here could include housing and a relocated heritage center to serve the housing serving military personnel. We're still working on adjusting the total build-out estimated from this plan, but it represents now around 14,000 additional housing units over the course of the next 25 years, accounting for existing pipeline projects, what is remaining in our specific plans, the Heart of Fairfield and the train station specific plans, and accounting for sites already included in our housing element. This build-out is on the lower end of our economic subconsultant's estimates for office development, but this is in line with the uncertainty of the future of office and reflective of the vacant office space now currently available for lease. Much of our land use strategy now will reflect a business mix where ancillary office jobs will support manufacturing and other growth industries. So office more is an allowable use rather than a 100% office product or an office land use designation. And then once build-out is finalized and complete, we will use those numbers to identify what improvements, facilities, and amenities, including if there is any need for additional school locations, park needs, specific improvements to help traffic, where and to what extent those are needed, and how our general plan policies can help to address those known issues. So now, just moving into our guiding policies. I'm just going to go through this, and then if you have questions about the concepts, we can go back to it. So our guiding policies are rooted in our visioning and guiding principles document produced at the end of phase 1 that describes the community's vision for Fairfield. These will help to guide direction of more specific policies in each of the elements. This represents our tentative outline of the general plan elements, though it bears noting that we're now going to be preparing a standalone environmental justice element to address the needs of communities that face more of an environmental or socioeconomic burden in Fairfield, prompted by new data from Cal Enviroscreen. The elements in bold represented those that we developed guiding policies for and shared with the General Plan Advisory Committee, or GPAC, and the Planning Commission. Others will be developed in consultation with Fairfield departments, and there'll be other opportunities for community input in January that I'll talk about later. So at our GPAC meeting in October, our members had a wealth of specific ideas to be considered and incorporated as implementing policies as they are more specific. A summary of those is available on our Fairfield Forward website. Some of their key ideas included protecting farmland, fostering a pedestrian-friendly environment, diversifying housing types, promoting sustainability through measures like tree planting and limiting health-harming business locations, prioritizing collaboration with schools, and ensuring access to essential services for all residents. They were also presented to the Planning Commission in November for feedback. Key ideas here included more of a distinction between urban and non-urban land use, focusing on creating a collective design identity for Fairfield, enhancing circulation through technology, and planning for future technologies for circulation, prioritizing public service linkages, sustainability efforts, including water conservation and wildfire prevention, fostering public health partnerships for environmental justice with specific focus on lower income neighborhoods, alongside initiatives that are similar to blue zones, which are health promoting environments that support longevity of life and improved community well-being. Changes drawing from these recommendations are included as a red line document in your packet. I'm happy to go through each element briefly if desired, but we are seeking direction on a few things. First, is anything missing that you would like to see in our guiding policies, or are there specific implementing policies that should be included later on? And then we would like you to confirm direction on some of the items emerging from the GPAC and the Planning Commission. So expanding missing middle housing types in existing residential areas. So exploration of other types of smaller scale housing like duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. Other housing that may be more affordable to a wider variety of incomes beyond just your apartment or single family home. So as part of the general plan, we could explore modifying allowable densities or minimum lot size requirements or other changes to facilitate this kind of development. So would there be any interest in that? Some Planning Commission members expressed interest in exploring a regional park system, and there have been efforts in the county to initiate this kind of parks planning before, but I think they were put on pause because of COVID. So would there be interest in exploring a regional park system, which is different than the way things are done now? Next, the land use concepts and guiding policies currently aim to revisit the Central Fairfield Revitalization and Linear Park Concept Plan, particularly the development of activity nodes that are near the Solano Town Center, the cemetery, and North Texas and East Tabor, as well as other areas for programmatic activation. And that kind of nodal approach, would there still be interest in moving forward with policies that support that? And then finally, Planning Commission also indicated desire to explore public art programs or development requirements for public art. So would there be support for that, and are there select locations where you would want to see that? So I will stop there.
Okay, I can open up the public hearing if you'd like first, colleagues, and then come back for questions. Does that make sense? All right. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, you have speakers?
Yes, our first speaker will be Cornelius Wood, to be followed by Bob Karn.
Councilman
I
Tonneson?
just want to make a comment before
Sure.
we start. We are not paving over Suisun Valley Road, over Suisun Valley.
Oh, no.
I just want to make that
Period.
clear before it comes up
Yeah,
again.
nope.
I'd like to speak to you about attachment 1 to this particular plan. If your presenter could put it up, you might be able to review it with us. But anyway, I provided Ms. Moy and Mr. Tonneson with a copy of attachment 1. And it starts out with Fairfield Preferred Plan draft guiding policies and topic areas. And I don't want to cover every, because it'll use up all my 3 minutes. Anyway, it provides input from your General Plan Advisory Group, GPAC, and the Solano Planning Commission study, November 8th, and it reflects implementing policies that will be developed following the City Council study session, this one. All right. It starts out with draft guiding policies, and it lists 8 of them, or 9 of them, I forget which. Here, let me take a look here. It lists 9 of them. I'm particularly interested in talking with you about number 8 and number 9. Continue to enhance the support and vision of the Heart of Fairfield specific plan to stronger integration of the transportation center, linkage to the Fairfield Sassoon train station, and opportunities to additionally dispense referring and mixed housing. And number 9, based upon the vision of the train station specific plan and updating land uses to reflect higher residential dormitories near the train station. I just want to be sure that that train station we're referring to in item 9 is back to the one you're talking about in item 8, not the one that's way out there by One Lake.
Yes.
You've all heard me give you presentations on this. I provided you with information from the Sassoon, from the Fairfield Sassoon.
Station.
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Chamber of Commerce. Anyway, I would like to see that you focus in on this thing because, as Mr. Gasway has indicated to you, the state has big intentions for this thing to be a major hub in this county. The Solano Transportation Committee has designated a major transportation development area, and so has the state. I don't think it should be buried in here. I think it deserves your spotlight attention, and don't let the opportunity fritter it away. That's all I
Amen.
can say on it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Cornelius, the train station is not buried. That's in front of us.
Sorry, next speaker is Bob Karn, to be followed by Robin Cox.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, thank you. Bob Karn, Robert A. Karn and Associates Civil Engineers here in town. Have 2 areas I wanted to talk about. One is the Hale Ranch. I work with Buzz Oates, who has a large portion of that tied up, and the direction that's in the plan sounds great. There was a prohibition on warehousing. We agree we don't want to build warehouses, but we do think that warehousing will need to be a component of some of the things that we want to do out there. You can't do wine crushing without storing wine. There are a lot of ag uses that require warehousing, so we would like you to support ag warehousing uses as a part of an operation that goes on the project. There's no intention to do bomber warehouses for Amazon. That's not what that site's all about. But we just wanted to make it clear we do think warehousing as a component of a project is appropriate. The other one I want to talk about is my personal property that's in Area 8. I own the office building Boynton Plaza. I'm at the corner of Beck and Boynton. I'm very proud of my building. It's the concrete building with the flutes and the best landscaping in the neighborhood. And you have us as going in as mixed use, which is okay with me. My building's 40 years old. That's my wife and I, that's our retirement. At some point, we may actually knock the building down and do something different with it. The problem I have with mixed use is the way it's written. It says variety of medium and high density residential, office, and general commercial uses on the same lot. Now, I have the largest lot in that neighborhood. It's 1.3 acres. To expect us, demand us to put those uses on is not appropriate. For us to be able to do that, maybe. Mixed-use development is not working generally. I do own some buildings at the end of West Texas where it is working. We have a pizza shop down below that probably most of you have eaten pizza, and we have offices up above. That works. It's a very urban environment. That's not what I have in Area 8 down on Beck Lane. So we support the mixed-use zoning, but I recently had a project in front of the Planning Commission, an apartment project. We were demanded to do a mixed-use project, blindsided us, caught us at the end, and we did. We added a commercial component. The Planning Commission was very upset, if any of you followed that. They came back and said, you met the letter of the law, but you don't pass the smell test. And that was pretty much half of the commission felt that way. So mixed use, great. Mandatory mixed use, not so great, not yet. In a real urban environment, like my office building down there with the pizza and the offices upstairs, absolutely fits there, but it doesn't fit everywhere. So that's all I wanted to encourage you to think about mixed use as a demand versus mixed use as a goal, and to consider the warehousing as a necessary component of the beverage and ag uses that we want to do on the Hale Ranch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Robin Cox, to be followed by Joe Green Heffern.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for having me tonight. Robin Cox, first and foremost, Fairfield resident for many, many years. Also a member of your GPAC team, as well as a senior health services manager with Solano Public Health. I just wanted to first thank you for allowing citizens to be on the GPAC, and it's been a great privilege to serve. And I look forward to continuing in the process and continuing, hopefully, working on the climate element. Climate change is a huge impact, has a huge impact on public health and the public's health, as we all know, from sea level rise to heat and cold emergencies to weather, tremendous impact on public health, and I'm just mentioning just a couple. I noted in reviewing the documents that in the guiding principles document on page 5 under environmental justice and public health, that there's a couple places where in item 2, pollution exposure, and also in item 5 on that page, safe and sanitary homes, that it might cover what I'm about to say, but I'm not sure it's explicitly stated. So I just wanted to bring up that one of the best ways that we can really help improve the public's health and safety around environmental justice is helping people have clean indoor air in addition to outdoor pollution. So the excellent work that your city council has done on smoke-free downtown West Texas, we'd love to see that expanded to North Texas and to the rest of the city. And there's opportunities in terms of what you're trying to do to promote the downtown, to have smoke-free outdoor dining and other kinds of things that would go a very long way to trying to meet your goals for environmental justice and public health. And I just wasn't sure if it was explicitly in number 2 or number 5, so just wanted to point that out to commend the excellent work that you've done and to see if we can try to expand that going forward. I also just wanted to thank I noticed in the Planning Commission's comments that there was a suggestion to work closely with public health, and I just want to say we stand at the ready to continue the partnership with City of Fairfield. We really appreciate that great camaraderie, and we stand at the ready to help you implement all of the elements that have things to do with public health. So thank you.
And thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
And our last speaker, Joe Green Heffern. There are no hands raised online.
Thank you.
Yes,
Hi,
Mayor
Joe.
and Council. First, I would like to, indicate that I'm very glad that we finally got to the point where we have a preferred plan. I don't agree with all of it, but I think we've struggled with the lack of a cohesive view for parts of the city in the past as projects have come forward, and I think this at least gives a framework. I guess a couple specifics. One is I think the emphasis on active transportation is important as we move forward in making these more true neighborhoods where people at least have the option of getting to essential services without having to drive. And this is particularly important as we move to higher density housing in various neighborhoods. A second area I think is important is the need and a greater emphasis on collaboration with other governmental entities. I think we've had a gap in some major infrastructure because it's not clear, is it the city, is it the county, and everybody had hands off on key pieces of infrastructure in the Cordelia area, like the Sassoon Valley interchange. So I think a focus on collaboration will be very helpful. I guess the last area, and it was raised by the other gentleman about mixed use, is there's a gap between goals and translation on reality in the ground when projects come up. And this was brought home to me when an apartment was recently approved next to the La Cordelia Library, and it got shoehorned in under mixed use, but it basically had a 100-square-foot coffee shop that was tacked on to an apartment, and I don't think that was the real vision of mixed use. So I don't know if these guiding principles or the next layer need to get a little, drill down a little farther in what it really means and where it applies. Higher density areas versus lower density areas. But anyway, those are areas to consider. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have two more speakers, Dwayne Crom, to be followed by James Bezick.
Good evening, council members. Dwayne Crom, City of Fairfield. No surprise, I'm here with concerns about the Hale Ranch property incursion into Sassoon Valley. You have some wonderful policies in the plan about respecting agriculture and encouraging agriculture and working with the county, but at the same time, that is a giant march into prime ag land, and prime ag land is one of the very rare commodities that we have in this county and throughout the country. So any kind of industrial type development can be done on any kind of land. It certainly doesn't need to be done on prime ag land. And I would encourage you to remove that from your general plan land use map and direct staff and consultants to find other appropriate spots within the general plan outline of where you can site any kind of manufacturing and industrial work. But please protect our prime ag land and help to promote the Sassoon Valley as it continues to grow and prosper. As all of you have seen it, it has really grown and prospered over the last decade or so. Thank you.
And James.
Good evening. I'm James Bezick. I'm the Director of Resource Management for Solano County, and applaud you guys on the effort going forward. We're about to start our general plan work as well, so I know what kind of effort this takes. But what I want to talk about is the Hale Ranch item itself. That area is currently in a strategic plan for the county. It's in the unincorporated area, so it's an unanticipated annexation by the city, and we're curious as to how what you're proposing differs from what the current plan is within the strategic plan for that area. So the county has concern with that and would like to see some further discussion. Additionally, in one of the element goals, I just had a question on, it was an attachment, let me find it here. It was part of your pack number 7, and it's within the open space conservation and recreation element. And it relates to the requirement of all new development served by municipal services to be located within the urban growth boundary. And our county is curious with regards to that restriction, simply because in the strategic plan area and within the general plan for the county does have anticipation of potentially partnering with different municipalities on services like water, potentially sewer, and this language would restrict that potential partnership. And so we're just curious as to, is that the intention going forward? And like to understand further discussion with that as you move forward in your general plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other public commenters? No.
All right, I'm going to bring it back to the council for discussion. I'm going to close the public hearing just one last time. Anybody else? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing then and bring it back for the council to discuss or ask questions.
I have a comment, Mayor.
All right, Councilman Carr.
Yeah, first of all, I just would like to thank you. You guys did such a fabulous job on this. All the things that we talked about in our planning and everything made it in here that was specific and very good job. Thank you very much. That's all I got.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you. Okay, hopefully I can keep organized with my questions. On page 11, We have in the office section, we have the pipeline and the remaining in specific plans. And what came to mind is I know that this plan was started in 2020. And of course, we know that's when the recession started. So my question is surrounding office specifically, but it may touch retail as well. What we know today, has there been data, research, information that informs us as to, in the next, until 2050, what retail, what office space should look like? Do we have too much here? That was just kind of missed because data took a while to maybe trickle in after we had started this process.
Sure. So when this project kicked off, we had an economic subconsultant develop some projections, a range of how much office, retail, industrial could be expected to occur in Fairfield based on different factors. And one is more aggressive. Another one represents existing growth if it were to just kind of, if that trend were to carry forward. And we do know now that return to office, it's still kind of shaky. I don't know that there is good data yet about what those numbers look like, but the numbers as part of this build out are on the lower end to reflect that uncertainty, to reflect the existing vacancies in Fairfield, to reflect the fact that, brick and mortar is becoming less and less, but experiential retail might be increasing. So these numbers are based on what our economic subconsultant had produced, but we will verify these final numbers with them as we develop the final plan.
And I would also add, Council Member, that what we want to do is use this information to actually conduct the environmental analysis so that this capacity would be available to the city. So it's not the case that 5 years down the road, if you were to get an office development, then suddenly you'll be out of environmental capacity for that project to be realized. So it'll really be up to the private initiatives, from private property owners to be developing this development here. So, and if that development doesn't mature, the market is, not there for that, it'll not happen simply. But we are retaining the capacity, which is prudent over the next 20, 25 years to maintain certain amounts of capacity. And 1 million square feet of office is not a huge amount, so to say. And as you can already see, there is a lot of retail in the pipeline here. And we are only adding as much as there is in the pipeline to that. So that is still a modest amount of retail to be added.
Thank you. My next question is surrounding page 15, the general plan outline. 10, it's environmental justice and public health element is a new element. And then, of course, read that in detail in the last slide. But my question is, are we missing anything? I love that you added 10, environmental justice and public health element, but looking at other California cities that are doing general plans, is there something else that we're missing?
No, we're not really missing anything. Typically, we have, in addition to the state required elements, we have community design as an element. And, as we look to both the infill areas such as North Texas Street and connections to transportation and walkability, that'll be really helpful. We have a sustainability element to promote sustainability. We have an environmental justice and public health element. And one of the reasons this was added, in addition to there being a need, in the previous Cal Enviro screen, which is the data set that we use, there weren't any communities in Fairfield at the time, and they updated the data, and now we do have communities. So previously, we were thinking about addressing those issues, but not at the same level, and now we are required to address it under state law. So when we say we're adding this element, it's simply because of the new data that was released actually this year that is making us do that. And then we have an economic development element as well. So there are 7 state required elements, right? And we have 11 here, plus implementation and plus the housing element, and housing is one of the 7. So we have like 5 additional elements beyond the state mandated ones, so we're doing pretty good, yeah.
You know, that's very helpful because that's actually what I was wondering. I attended California Forward, a conference some months ago, and there was such a state conference, and there was so much conversation about environmental justice, and I was wondering if there was a intersection there. So thank you for answering that question. On page 19, there is integration with the transportation center, and my question, and it kind of Joe, you kind of mentioned it. My thought is twofold. I was on an MTC subcommission, and I know that there were overlays between looking at transit and housing and dollars funding associated. And I was hoping that we weren't just talking in transportation, looking out to 2050, that we weren't just looking at one transportation, I think it's called nodes or hubs, one major, that we're looking at sub-hubs. You know, where are there integration of people and retail and activity and housing? Where those activities, where do we expect for them to grow? And are we overlaying that into this plan? I have in my head, it's called the Bay Area Regional Transit. I couldn't get my phone to work correctly to try to Google it, so I could be wrong. But I just want to make sure that there are an integration looking forward into what I'm calling smaller transportation hubs.
Yeah, we are doing that in many places. This policy refers specifically to the transportation center and looking around that. But if you remember Allison, presenting earlier, even along North Texas Street, if you look at that map and land use map in greater detail, the places where we have located the highest densities is where North Texas Street intersects with the linear park, for example. Because we do anticipate people riding, biking, and also if there's a shuttle or buses around North Texas Street, that becomes the ideal location for that. And the same goes along West Texas Street as well. So, here on this map, you can see the purple colors where the linear park intersects with North Texas Street. And further up north, closer to the schools and so on. So we are paying a great deal of attention to that, and certainly, your suggestions, are helpful, and we'll continue looking for that as we write policies and get more into the details in the general plan.
I think I just have one other question, and it is surrounding the schedule, which I don't believe has a page number, but it's toward the front. So I don't want to get. I've been told that this is subject to be pushed back. Is that true, or can we have this completely done by fall of 2024? Is this an accurate schedule?
This does represent an accurate schedule. We are hitting the ground running next year. We have some workshops planned for the end of January. We have meetings scheduled with departments in February. So we fully anticipate, a lot of work next year to meet this deadline.
Do you have dates for the public workshops?
Yep.
Okay.
And then if I may, we just finalized these dates today, but we'll have our citywide workshop. We'll have an in-person one on the 20th a virtual one on January 23rd.
I do have one final thing. I just want to thank everyone that's had their fingers on this. I mean, I am completely, just this little piece that Doug and I have been involved in was a lift. And the fact that you all have worked this plan for 2 years, 2.5 years, is pretty amazing. And also to thank the community. I know that the outreach event that I went to was very well attended. I see pictures here of another one well attended. So these are community members that are so plugged in. Even today, with a notice of, a public notice of Thursday, we still have very interested people in the community that came out to speak. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anybody else? Councilwoman Panduro.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. I wanted to go back to the sustainability element page. And so, sorry, not that one quite yet. The environment, oh no, wait. Yes. Number 9, where it's talking about increasing recycling and reducing solid waste. So I understand that reducing solid waste is a key thing, but it would be great to see something more specific to composting. I know that we have that bill that just passed with regards to composting, and I say that because as a resident who lives in an apartment complex, I don't have access quite yet to be able to compost. I know it's supposed to be coming, but finding ways to allow more accessibility to residents that live in high-density areas. I don't have, I didn't get a little green bucket, and I don't have a green bin in my space, so what can the city do to allow residents to compost? I know I've seen cities where they have the compost bins at the farmer's market to allow anyone to go there. So finding ways to promote so that everyone can compost, even if you don't live in a regular home, that would be great. And then, I'm sorry, and then I also, going back to the environmental justice piece, I appreciate the comment regarding the indoor clean air. As you can hear me, I am an asthmatic, and so having clean air is something that I've struggled, having this so important to me and my others in my household that also have asthma. And so I know as a city, we also rank very high in the county for having high asthma rates. So including not just pollution exposure and air quality, but air quality indoor and outdoor would be great to have. And thank you for all your work on this. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anybody else? Councilman Vaccaro.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. On page 3, objectives, and this is just a little note. Public art requirements. I know that's something I've been talking about for a long time about, if you live in Fairfield or people are driving through Fairfield, it would be great for people to know who lives here in Fairfield. So that means kind of celebrating our diversity, who we are. I saw a great mural downtown today, by the way, that was, and I'd like to see, if there's going to be any type of public art requirements, I'd like to see that put in there as a concept, because really people need to know, who we are and what we're, the people that live here, because we are an extremely diverse city. So I'd like to just take a note of that as a public art requirement. That's it.
Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else? I had then a few things. One is, I think I saw one thing about Travis, but Travis is part of our city, and we need to be really, really clear. I don't know how you do this, on 2 things. One is that we'll protect Travis with everything we have. And the other thing is that we will protect Suisun Valley with everything we have. And that that we will never go in to annex to put housing or anything else there. And those are 2 things that are holy to us. and I think it really needs to be emphasized. And so if we can do things inside the city to help, well, Travis is part of our city, so, excuse me, pardon me, anything to enhance Susan Valley, to bring their wares or whatever to downtown restaurants, I'd love to see that, but we just really need to emphasize those things. And then the other thing is that I wanted to speak to the Linear Park Master Plan. I was so excited when that plan first came out. I literally got up and jumped up and down. I love the idea of the nodes. Right now, the linear park is not used as much as it should be. And I know that, a couple years ago we started talking, I talked about, maybe some kind of transportation in there again. It used to be a train, and then we find out that we can't do that. But we can do other things. And the nodes in there to align with certain areas like North Texas, which, we're all very interested in, and also next to schools. And there were ideas to have little, baby farmers markets or things along on the nodes to bring people there, because we know that right now there's a lot of vagrancy in there. Actually, let me take that back. Our police department's done a great job clearing that stuff out. Yeah, they have done a great job. And big kudos to them. It's been quite a job. And also with Public Works. However, we don't want it to go back to that. We don't want it to be the crime quarter. That's what I used to call it. We want it to be useful for everybody, every age, from pushing your kids or putting them in the back of your bikes to, senior people like me taking a walk. And so that's what I'm looking for there. If you wanted specifics on that. Now, as far as we had somebody speak earlier about mixed use zoning and how that should not be a mandate. I believe that's true. I don't think that we should mandate that that's what it is, that you should say that this is a mixed use area and you can do this or that. But I think you leave that up to the planning commissioners at the time with the outline of this is what we do. The other thing is there was mention about warehousing being prohibited. Now, we've seen too much ugly warehousing, that's for sure. And we don't want to see those big ugly warehouses. However, we do want to, like I said earlier, help Suisun Valley. And sometimes you do need to have a little bit of, I don't know how you would do that or word it. Somebody smarter than me would have to figure that out. But it shouldn't be prohibited if it's necessary to help with
Right.
ag.
And Madam Mayor, I'll respond to that. And I think that was our intent, and Allison said that as a primary use, it's not permitted. But as an ancillary use, and we can go on to say as an ancillary use, because if you're doing wine processing, you've got to store it somewhere, right, after you process it. So that's very normal to allow ancillary warehousing uses. That's even allowed for semiconductor chip manufacturing to God knows what else. They all have ancillary storage facilities. So that would be allowable, yeah.
Like I said, people smarter than me, that's you. And so I was glad to hear that. The other thing is like Councilman Panduro, I grew up here and I have asthma. And this isn't just about me, because I used to think, oh no, it's okay, let people do this and do that. Well, I think that downtown should be smoke-free. And I look forward to this council talking about it in January when we all get together. So here's your warning. Come at us. We want to talk about it, really, the community, because we need to do all we can to make it healthy for everybody. So those are the items that I had, and I too appreciate staff hanging in there, everybody back there, you all. It has been a long process, and thank you for being patient with us, because I know that we diverted for a while. We had to do that because it was kind of coming on fast, but really appreciate it and look forward to the next steps. Thank you. So what do we need next? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We just want to put a plug in into, for people to come to the workshops that we're having in January. You know, we encourage people to go to Fairfield Forward and sign up, you know, to be on the email list if you're not. And Jesse, you have actual dates to announce for the workshops again one more time to encourage people. Is that, yeah, just go ahead and tell people to sign up, because we really want people to come to those.
Hello, everybody. We are scheduling 2 workshops. The first will be in person on Saturday, January 20th. The second will be virtual on January 23rd. However, we are still finalizing details, so we will be promoting them extensively after we finalize the location, times, Zoom link, and those kinds of things. And I do believe we have one more question for the City Council.
All righty. We'll accept it.
Thank you for your patience. It was just about direction for exploration of a regional park system, if there would be support for that, or...
We could talk about it. We are, I think, since we just went through our whole park plan, we're most concerned about having Fairfield's parks be healthy and open and up to date, right? And so that's what we've worked on, but we could talk about it. Is that what you're thinking, you guys? Or do you not want to talk about it?
Yeah.
It's not a priority, they say. Okay.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about it.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
so much. You have a great holiday.
Thank you, colleagues. And so that's going to be it, and I'm going to adjourn till January 16th. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and be safe out there, and we'll see you next year.